So let us begin our class with the molecular orbital theory, MOT. After VBT, after hybridization, and after Vesper theory, this theory was actually most acceptable one by the scientists because it explains each and everything about the structure, shape, molecules, hybridizations, each and everything in detail. And it's just explain the why these things actually exist, what happened with the elements. This explains all these things in detail. So let us talk about silent features of molecular orbital theory. The electron in a molecule are present in the various molecular orbitals as the electrons of atoms are present in. Means, for example, I have just told you this thing that all the elements have electrons, and these electrons are distributed in various orbitals. For example, in 2s 2 electrons are there, 1s in 2 electrons are there, in 2s 2 electrons are there, 2p 6 electrons are there. So all the electrons in the element, they are just present in the molecular orbitals, means, or you can say they are distributed in different atomic orbitals. Okay, the atomic orbitals of comparable energies and proper symmetry combine to form molecular orbitals. We have just studied in the previous chapter about the hybrid orbitals. Okay, so after that, molecular orbital theory assign a new name to the hybrid orbitals, that is molecular orbital. Why molecular orbital? Because when your elements valency shell overlap, or you can say when your elements form bond, they form molecules by combining with each other. Okay, that is why these orbitals are named as molecular orbitals, because atoms and elements combine to form molecules, and the new hybrid orbitals which are formed by the overlapping of atomic orbitals, these are known as molecular orbitals. While an electron in an atomic orbital is influenced by one nucleus, in a molecular orbital, it is now influenced by two nuclei or more nuclei, depending upon the number of atoms in the molecule. Thus, an atomic orbital is monocentric while a molecular orbital is polycentric. Now, let me just explain you this thing in detail. For example, if we talk about an atom consists of a nucleus and electrons. Okay, so if hydrogen has one electron, for example, if hydrogen have one electron and one nucleus, so the electron which is present in the hydrogen is attracted by one nucleus only. Okay, in atomic case. But when it exists in diatomic form, in hydrogen molecular form, so at that time, all the electrons which are present there, they are attracted by two nucleuses at that time. Okay, and if we talk about some complex compound, for example H2SO4, so now we have H, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. Okay, and we have multiple number of atoms, 2 hydrogen, 4 oxygen, 1 sulfur. It means that all the electrons which are present there in that molecule are attracted by so many nucleuses. So that is why you can say an atomic orbital is a monocentric. Monocentric means which is attracted by only one nucleus, but a molecular orbital is polycentric. It can be attracted by two nucleuses, three nucleuses, four nucleuses. It depends on how many atoms combine together to form a molecule. Next, the number of molecular orbital formed is equal to the number of combining atomic orbital. So we know this thing that how many atomic orbital combine, they will form a same number of molecular orbitals. Okay, if two atomic orbital are combined, it means they are forming molecular orbitals. So it totally depends on the number of combining atomic orbitals. So let's just take an example. When two atomic orbital combine, they will form two molecular orbitals. Okay, if two atomic orbitals are combining together, they form two molecular orbital, and these two molecular orbitals named as bonding molecular orbital and non-bonding molecular orbitals. So there are two types of molecular orbital. First one is molecular bonding molecular orbital, and second one is anti-bonding molecular orbital. So they can ask you how many types of molecular orbitals are there? Two types, bonding and anti-bonding. Okay. Now the bond, well, let's just understand what actually anti-bonding and bonding are. So the bonding molecular orbital has lower energy and has greater stability than the corresponding anti-bonding molecular orbital. Now, if we compare the in the stability, so the bonding molecular orbital is much more stable and has a lower energy. Listen, the better note this thing point, note this point anywhere, that those orbital or those things which has low energy, they are they are more stable. Which has higher energy, they are less stable. Less energy matlab they will not lose any energy, they will not change their state, they will remain in their original state only. So that will increase the stability. If something has energy, it means it loses its energy, come to its ground state, it means they are unstable. Okay, so if you do comparison, so bonding molecular orbitals are quite stable because they has lower energy, but with anti-bonding they are higher energy but unstable. Okay, just as the electron probability distribution around the nucleus in an atom is given by an atomic orbiter, the electron probability distribution around a group of nuclei in a molecule is given by a molecular orbiter. So if we just talk about that what is orbital, if someone asks you what is orbit or orbital, so orbital is that area where the probability of finding electron is maximum. So if we talk about that means in hydrogen, electron is in 1s orbital. So it means there is a probability of finding electron in 1s orbital only. You can't find it in any other orbital. Okay. So atomic orbitals are like there's probability of electron probability around the nucleus. And if we talk about the nucleus, the electron probability distribution around the group of nucleus in the molecule. So at that time, you can find it anywhere in the around the group of nucleus, because when elements combine, it means their nucleuses are grouping. Group can be of 2, 3, 4, 5. It depends on the combination of atomic orbitals. The molecular orbitals, like atomic orbitals, are filled in accordance with Aufbau principle, obeying the Pauli exclusion principle and Hund's rule of multiplicity. So these are the rules which are followed by us to fulfill the electrons in the shells, in the orbitals. So this molecular orbital theory, it follows the Aufbau rule for along with Pauli exclusion and Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Now, in molecular orbital, a new concept came, that is the formation of atomic orbitals, LCAO. That is linear combination of atomic orbitals. That how your atomic orbital combines, how molecular orbital form, how that molecular orbitals and that molecular orbital at anti-bonding and bonding molecular orbitals form. Okay, so these things are explained by linear combination of atomic orbital method. So let's just take an example and start. Consider the hydrogen molecule consisting of two atoms A and B. For example, we have a molecule hydrogen, one hydrogen is named as A and another hydrogen atom is named as B. Each hydrogen atom in the ground state has one electron in 1s orbital. Each of the hydrogen atom has one electron in 1s orbital. Other are vacant. So the atomic orbitals of these atoms may be represented by wave function, that is psi A and psi B. And I think you all are familiar with this wave function symbol psi. It seems like Trishul. Okay, so the orbitals, these orbitals, they are represented around an atom as psi A and psi B. Psi A for orbital of atom A and psi B is the orbital for atom B. Okay. Mathematically, the formation of molecular orbital may be described by linear combination of an atomic orbital that can take place by addition and subtraction of wave function of individual atomic orbitals shown below. So how you can express mathematically the formation of atomic orbitals, or you can say molecular orbitals? Mathematically, how you can explain this? By LCAO method. So that is by subtracting or by adding the wave functions. Ab means how you can subtract or how you can means add the wave functions. Let me just show you a diagram. We do two types of things here. First is addition of wave, and second one is subtraction of the waves. So what do you mean by addition and subtraction of waves? So for example, if we talk about when the two waves of hydrogen and A and hydrogen B have same side of movement, if their means if their have out phase are like same to each other, so means crust and trough are at the same point. So what happened when this crust and this crust will add, your final wave will, the amplitude of your final new wave will be higher as compared to the parent one. But when you subtract psi A and psi B, what happened? Both the two waves are opposite to each other. So that is why they cancels the effect of each other, and new wave has formed is with the lower amplitude. Okay. So this is the difference. In the case of bonding, the energy of your, you can say the wave amplitude of the wave will increase, and when in the case of anti-bonding, the amplitude of your new formed wave will decrease. Okay, so therefore the two molecular orbitals sigma and sigma star are formed. Sigma star is the bonding one, in which we used to add psi A and psi B, wave function of atom A and wave function of atom B, and in anti-bonding we used to subtract them. Psi A and psi B will be subtract, and which led to the formation of anti-bonding wave, which is denoted by sigma star. Okay. The molecular orbital sigma formed by addition of atomic orbitals are called bonding molecular orbitals. So when you add the wave functions, or when you add the atomic orbitals, you will obtain the bonding molecular orbital, and the sigma star formed by the subtracting of the molecular orbital, and they are called as anti-bonding molecular orbitals. So let's just understand the formation of nitrogen molecules by using MOT. As we all know, the means atomic number of nitrogen is 7. 7 means 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. And the electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. In px, py, pz, single electrons are there. Okay, now let's just make a nitrogen molecule by combining two nitrogen atoms. So in left side I have electrons of for one nitrogen atom, nitrogen A, and in right hand side I'll just consider it as nitrogen B. So let us talk about the molecular, this is called energy level diagram. So first energy level is 1s. We will make each and every orbital which we you can say which and according to their energy level. Okay, so we know this thing that when these A and B combine, they form two atomic orbitals that can be bonding and anti-bonding. Always the bonding box will be placed in the lower side of the diagram, and anti-bonding will be placed on the upper side of the diagram. Okay, so two electrons come in, and so 2 plus 2 means 4 electrons are there in 1s right now. So what happened? Two electron will go into anti-bonding 1s, and 2 electron will go into bonding 1s. Okay. Let's just move to the second energy level diagram. There is typing error beta. This lower one is sigma 2s, and that one is upper one is sigma star 2s. So if we talk about 2s, in A we have 2 electron and 2s, and in B also we have 2 electron and 2s. Total 4 electrons, 2 in bonding and 2 are another bonding. Now we'll come to p orbital. Beta, the energy, we know this thing that since we are making energy level diagram in which we are arranging orbital on the basis of their energies. So if we distribute the molecular orbital on the basis of energy, then px and py have equal energy, and z have means z is different in energy from px and py. So first electron will come in px, then will come in py, then electron goes to pz. Since we know that in p orbital nitrogen have 3 electrons, unpaired electrons in px, py, pz. So let's just take these electron and put in one in px, one in py, and one in pz. After that, the B nitrogen molecule also have 3 electron in outermost shell, unpaired. So let's just paired all the electrons which are present in PXY, one in X, one in Y, and one in Z. One in clockwise and another one is clockwise, anti-clockwise. So since only 6 electrons were there in the P subshell, that is why all the electron will go into the P bonding orbitals only. But if in case the number of electrons were more in the p subshell, more than 6, then the electron will go to the anti-bonding one. So now the new electronic configuration, or you can say molecular electronic configuration of NO2 will be sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, pi 2px2 is equal to pi 2py2. Okay, it's like nearly equal to, is equal to means direct two dashes, and nearly equal to means wavy dash, wavy equal to. As you can see, this look like a wave. So this is wavy equal to, it means nearly equal to, comma sigma 2pz2. If the molecule have more electron in p, so that is why at that time electron will move into anti-bonding. So the electronic configuration will be next sigma 2p, sigma star 2px2, and sigma star 2py, and same sigma star 2pz2, means 6 electron will fill into the anti-bonding p also. All right, so this is how the molecular orbital theory explains the explains the formation of molecules or molecular orbitals in on the basis of means on the basis of their energy, and distribute the energy like that on two types of orbitals. One is anti-bonding and another one is bonding molecular orbitals. Okay, so this is how the molecular orbital theory explains the bonding and sigma bonding and the formation of new molecular orbitals. Okay.